Lisa, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Stranda. Thank you so much for all the love and support. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. So guys, I came across this video on my For You and I thought to share where internet is reacting to the fact that Orange Man is proposing, you know, running for the third term. This got people reacting. People were like, oh my god, this is not possible. Why would he even go ahead and think about that? But he said that he's not joking about running for the third time. I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of all the stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. All right, lovelies, let's dive into it.
I'm not kidding. That's President Donald Trump's response to NBC News Sunday after saying he's considering ways to run for a third term in the White House. Here with more on the president's comments and the barriers he faces, Spectrum national political reporter Taylor Popolars. So Taylor, go ahead and break down what the president told NBC News about seeking a third term and why these comments stand out so much.
Well, Robert, they stand out because this is the first time, at least in recent memory, that the president has indicated he's serious about potentially trying to pursue a third term. He has jokingly made remarks about it in February, in January, on the campaign trail all last year. But in this phone interview with NBC this weekend, he said that he's taking it seriously. I want to put up on screen just an excerpt from this NBC piece. He wrote, "I'm not joking," Trump said when asked to clarify, "but I'm not. It is far too early to think about." And then they wrote, when asked whether he has been presented with plans to allow him to seek a third term, Trump said, "There are methods which you could do it." This is obviously extremely notable, Robert. If any sitting president was talking about trying to pursue a third term, we would be talking about it because the Constitution expressly says that that's not allowed, that presidents can only serve 2 terms. This is something Trump has mused about before. There's even a Republican congressman from Tennessee who's introduced an amendment to try to change the Constitution to allow Trump to stay in office, but that would require 2/3 of Congress to vote on it or 2/3 of states to call for a constitutional convention. So that's a really tall ask, but this was a notable comment from the president.
Wild Trump interview today on NBC News where he did not rule out seeking a third term. What are we doing? A third term is prevented by the Constitution, the whole 22nd Amendment, but he says there's a way to do it. Kristen asked him, what are these methods by which you could get a third term? And he said, well, I don't know. And then she said, well, would it be like J.D. Vance runs and wins and then hands it over to you, kind of like when Medvedev took over for Putin for a minute? And he was like, oh, yeah, fantastic idea. I never knew anything about that, but thank you for telling me. We don't have third terms in America, but some people love Trump more than they love America. Some people love Trump more than they love democracy. Some people love power more than they love democracy. If you don't love democracy and fight for democracy and put democracy ahead of everything else as far as government, you don't love America. Are you even American? You want to talk about an anti-American ideology? Anything that is anti-democratic, anti-American.
When leaders and their followers entertain ideas that challenge the foundational governance of this country, all I see is destruction. Like, you get people in line to follow certain rules, and then just because something doesn't go the way that you want it to go, when Barack Obama became president, because that's what all this is about. As soon as something doesn't go the way that you thought it was going to go, because they never planned for a black man to be president before, then you want to change those rules. Typical entitlement. And of course, it's just the blatant racist. But don't nobody, I really could care less about these people being racist. Don't nobody care. Like, that's between you and your God. Ain't got nothing to do with me. But you call yourself a Christian. You don't follow the rules to our government, and you don't follow the rules to the Bible. Oh my God. I'm not going to laugh because this is, y'all, what is the reality TV show for us? Because I know the world is watching us, like, eating their popcorn and, they some sisters. They probably eating some ice.
he can talk about a third term all he wants. By the end of all this, I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. His own voters aren't even gonna want him to run again. I mean, think about it. For one, there are people who have been on this MAGA train for 10 years now. By the end of this administration, it will be 14 years. And we saw even before he was elected, how much people were already saying they were tired of the same old excuses, the same rhetoric. It was stale. Well, that's what's going to start happening. It'll get stale with his voters, and it'll ultimately get stale with people in Congress. Especially if Republicans lose the tiny grip that they have on the majority in the House. If these elections in Florida go the way that they are projected to go, the messaging in the Republican Party will change. Now, he's out here floating this war with Iran, and, talking tough about Greenland and everything, because that will be the backup plan to losing seats in Congress. That will be the backup plan to having all of his policies and the things going on with Doge ultimately rolled back by the judges, which is already happening. They haven't found a real scapegoat that is, capturing the hearts and minds of their voters. They haven't been able to really change the conversation from how embarrassing he has been to MAGA while he's been in the Oval Office. It's starting to trickle into Fox News. You can see that they're kind of over it. They don't really want to keep explaining all the BS. And let me tell you, that plan he came up with J.D. Vance, that whole he runs and then Trump is the running mate and he hands it down, that ain't gonna happen. Think about it. Why would J.D. Vance go through the whole process of running for president, actually win, and then immediately give up that power? All you're doing is setting up the party to have a civil war, essentially. This is how things will ultimately end for the administration. They're going to tear each other apart. People are going to start picking sides because the orange man is, without a doubt, losing power. Everybody knows he's not sticking around after this particular term. Right now, we're seeing the Republican Party kind of starting to realize they are going to be a movement with no leader. They're not going to have anybody to rally around the same way they all rallied around the orange guy. And that is why he keeps talking about a third term. He's trying to convince everybody, even his own supporters, that the party is going to keep going. But the music is dying down, all right? It is not going to happen.
He is officially announcing that he is considering running for a third term. He went on record to say, "I'm not joking about trying to serve a third term. That's the clearest indication he is considering ways to breach a constitutional barrier against continuing to lead the country after his second term ends at the beginning of 2029. I tried to tell everyone that he was going to run a third term because O'Bannon or Steve Bannon, which one is it? Is it Bannon or O'Bannon? I'm not sure. Anyway, he stated on a podcast that he was definitely going to be running a third term. And people thought, Steve Bannon is just talking smack. Well, now he has officially stated out of his own mouth that he is considering ways to serve a third term as president. So, this is your warning. Go get registered to vote now.
The reason why the grandchildren don't know about the sundown towns is because the grandparents didn't tell them the true history on what was going on. The parents know, But as generation goes on, it gets watered down. That's why the parents was listening to hip hop, Tupac. And then as time go on, now we all one and one. Every time you watch Netflix, couples. Now this is the thing, right? I don't got no racism in my body. I love all cultures and races. Shout out to everybody, right? But we gotta be honest, bro. There's a lot of history that was buried. I didn't learn about a sundown town until I was like 19, 20 years old. I grew up in California though, you know. I knew about the Black Panthers. There's some people that never heard about the Black Panthers. You see how scattered everywhere? Now, when it come down to this girl, like, oh, if you think sundown towns are so scary, come grab my hand. We'll walk in the sundown town. Somebody said, I watched Get Out, you ain't finna get me. I said, you ain't getting me this lifetime. What you talking about? But the thing about it is, of course, it's safe for you. Of course it's safe for you. Bethany, those are your people. You're born there. Nobody gonna touch you there. With us, it's like an ominous feeling. I shot a whole video in Scottsdale. If you know, Scottsdale got an old town. And when I first moved out here, I learned that it was a sundown town. You know, so I shot a video there just to step on the land, let them know, like, just in case any of my ancestors went through something on the land. You never know, you know? But when you do your homework and you know your history, and you know the full truth of things, it's hard to look at something and just take it for like, oh, well, that was in the past. Because it's like, bro, you still feel it. You still feel it. Any of these towns, if you're there at night, you can still feel it. So it's hard to listen to Bethany tell you that the coast is clear, we're good now. The dog doesn't bite. The dog bites. The dog bites. They might gotta move different now, but the dog will bite. You ain't heard about that trucker situation, bro? And it might not be happening every day as often as quite often. Think about how things was before cameras was around. We be thinking like, oh, that was a long time ago, hundreds of years ago. Man, it's still up. It's still up, y'all. Y'all don't be understanding this. It's still up.
Who said Donald Trump was joking about a third presidency? Because in his own words, he says that he's not joking about the possibility of him taking on a third term. In an NBC interview, he entertained the possibility of him overriding the 22nd Amendment and being able to run for a third term. One scenario he talked about is having J.D. Vance run for president before his third term, and then after J.D. Vance wins, he then gives the presidency to Donald Trump. He then went on to say that there are other possibilities of things he could do, however, he's not going to mention it on that interview. Like, is no one else concerned as I am? He is entertaining the possibility of him becoming president and even saying that he's not joking about it. When he initially was talking about this stuff, I, for one, thought he was joking. I generally thought he was just playing around. But that's just me being naive. He is dead serious about overriding the Constitution. What's concerning to me are the other avenues that he is thinking about in order to get a third term, because he did not talk about it on that interview. So it makes me wonder, what exactly was he planning, and why is he not comfortable with talking about that on an interview? But I mean, what do y'all think? Do y'all think he's really going to try to run for a third term?
Trump says that he wants a third term. Kristen Welker asked him, he said, I'm not joking. We're looking into different methods for doing it. One method they have is J.D. Vance runs, Trump is his vice president. When Vance wins, they say, just kidding, Trump's the president. Vance steps down and he becomes president again. Okay, he said, but we're exploring several other paths as well to try to stay in office, which means that they would totally ignore the Constitution. Told you. That was my number one concern about Donald Trump. Not that he's anti-establishment. I don't mind that at all. The way he does it, I don't agree with, but that's actually his strength. But when he says that he wanted to terminate the Constitution after he lost the election the last time, and now he gets into office and he's like, yeah, of course we're thinking about a third term. Who cares about the Constitution is what he's saying. This is exactly the authoritarian nature we warned you about. So I hope that the independents and the right wing that voted for Trump wake up. This guy does not believe in our democracy.
Now, some of you already know, but Donald Trump states that he is still possibly trying to seek a third term. Let's jump right into it. Trump told NBC News in an exclusive interview Sunday that he is serious about the possibility of seeking a third term in the White House, stating that a lot of people want him to extend his presidency and that there are methods for doing so. Trump also added that it is very early in the administration and he is focused on the current, but that he has not ruled out potential attempts to becoming a president for a third time. The 22nd Amendment of the U.S. Constitution states that no person shall be elected to office of the president more than twice. The only president in U.S. history to serve more than 2 terms was Franklin D. Roosevelt, who won 4 presidential elections and served from 1933 until his death in 1945, leading to a call for term limits and the ratification of the 22nd Amendment in 1951. Trump was vague in response to questions about the methods he would use if he ran for office a third time. He told NBC News in one possible scenario, Vice President J.D. Vance could run for president and then pass the role to him. Now, the only way that this can happen is amending the Constitution to abolish the 2-term limit will require either 2/3 vote of Congress or 2/3 of the state agreeing to call a constitutional convention for proposed changes. Both options would then require ratification from 3/4 of the states. So even though he's focused on this current administration, he's not leaving out the option for trying to seek a third. What are your thoughts on this?
Donald Trump plans to run for a third term.
Isn't that against the Constitution?
Yeah. It is against the Constitution, but he said there's ways around it. He said one way is to make Vance the president, and then Vance can hand the presidency to him. He said that's only one of his plans.
So basically, it is against the Constitution.
So what?
He plans to break it.
Who cares if he breaks it? I know Canada, Europe, and Mexico all hate us and refuse to buy from us, but this is exactly what we needed.
Our economy's destroyed. Do you really want someone like that being the president again against the Constitution?
If he has to break a law or two one time to make us great again, then let him do it.
It's not going to be one time. How far do you think he's going to take it?
As
He
far as
knows
he
how to
needs
keep
it.
pushing the button, and you just say okay and yes to everything. Soon we're going to turn into a dictatorship.
Become a dictatorship? We have laws defending our democracy.
There's going to be no law stopping him.
You act like letting him break law after law is going to make him think he can do whatever he wants to us. Him being the president again is a great idea. He has my full support.
So what happened to that being a joke a few years ago?
The same way Project 2025 was a joke a few years ago. Well, now that it's reality, I've learned to
How
accept
do you
it.
defend all of this?
I know the stock market continually crashes and U.S. citizens are moving out of the country at the fastest pace you've ever seen.
Your children's futures are literally going down the drain, and you're applauding this. You get nothing out of it.
It's too late. Selling 2025. I can't wait for my kids to never buy a house or go to college or learn about real American history that actually happened or have kids or have a future.
Ridiculous. Like, he is not even done with the 4 years. He's not done with the one he has in hand. He's considering coming for the 3rd time. And the fact that he thinks that, okay, maybe there are a lot of people who likes whatsoever he was doing or he is doing, all of his policy is actually sitting well for people. And now he was like, oh, people like what we are doing. People, oh my God, they're encouraging us and they even want me to run for the 3rd time. Or I am considering running for the 3rd time. Like, dude. You're not done with the 2nd time. You are not done. People are trying to adjust to your policies. People are trying to, breathe in and breathe out. And you are all here talking about a 3rd time when you're not even done with the 2nd time. Like, seriously. I was talking about this, I think about, months back, where he talked about the Constitution is unconstitutional. I think I stitched the video here and I was like, this one he was talking about the Constitution not being constitutional. Are you sure this man is not, trying to change, or he will want to change the Constitution that will allow him to go for the 3rd time? And now here we are. I just stitched about this not quite long. I think that's about when he made a statement concerning the Constitution not being constitutional. I was like, this man might actually try to go for the 3rd time. And he says that he was going to, there's a way he can do that. And when he was asked when or how do you want to achieve that, he drew back. He was like, no, nothing. Now, this has to the fact that he might actually be last president. There's a time I think he made something like that. I don't know if I said he was like, oh, this must actually be the last election. I think he made this statement like that. And people do not understand why he was like, oh, during his campaign, this will be the last election. Don't worry, don't worry. You can just do whatever you want to do, but this, I assure you, American might not even, have to vote again. I think he was saying that in one of his campaign, and people thought that, most of the things that people thought he was joking about, he's not joking about it. So majority of MAGA supporter thinks, or most of his supporters think that most of everything that he said, most of it is just joking. This man is not joking. There are people who are meant like that. They tell you things, try to make it look like they are joking about it, but these people are serious with what they meant. They are serious. If you want to actually know if someone is so serious about something, or you want to find out truth for someone, I think, the fact that this person thinks that, oh, I'm joking, you're not joking, and they're about, that is actually find out that people are really serious. This man is not joking, but I actually think that, and I wish that at the end of the day, people are going to be fine, you know. But the fact remains that most of the things that he say that actually make people think that he's all joking around, he's not. He's actually serious. He's serious. He promised that he was going to deport so many people, and which he's doing right now. He promised so many things that which he's doing right now, that a lot of people actually think that he was joking about it. And now that he's saying this, he might end up, wanting to run for the third time. And I think he can stop. Do you think anyone can stop him? Someone that called himself a king. A king has the capacity to do whatsoever they like. The rules, they make the rules and regulations. So, if he's a king, and what makes you think that a king cannot fulfill whatever? We're all just going to, force our hands and keep on watching. Then why MAGA people actually do something, because I think this is what they want. Anyway, lovelies, I saw this. I thought that I was just going to bring it up here for you guys to know what is up. There are so many office leaves. Why not just leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. So guys, if you've not subscribed to this channel, please do your girl a huge favor to click on the subscription button. Like the video, I'll leave your thought of what you think about Orange time, or do you think that he might actually be stopped, or there are other things that he wants to, fulfill this desire of his, even if he has not even run half of his new term now. And I will see you lovely when I upload the next one.